and I think most Americans understand it. For many, many years now, we've had a government that has bent over backwards to take care of the needs of the rich.
So President Biden and Vice President Kamala Harris hosted business and union leaders for a discussion at the White House on Thursday. And that's as the Biden administration seeks to build support for a $1.2 trillion bipartisan infrastructure bill. Lawmakers in Congress have finally agreed on another part of the new infrastructure bill. President Biden says that the infrastructure bill is moving ahead, and so this means we might get a fourth stimulus check earlier than expected. Welcome back to my channel, everybody. I hope all of you guys are having a great day. This is your fourth stimulus check update and daily news report. Now before we get into the video, please don't forget to subscribe to my channel and give this video a like. On this channel, I always do my best in providing you with the most up-to-date and reliable stimulus check information. So folks, be sure to subscribe and give this video a like. It doesn't matter which party they're on. The Democrats and Republicans have to put away the political differences and help out the American people. And if you agree, then be sure to subscribe to my channel and give this video a like.
It's all about basically the race to the future. I've been traveling the world lately and back out where I used to spend a lot of time in the G7 and meeting with the summits with the Russians.
So Biden told negotiators during the gathering that the labor and business leaders were not here to negotiate with one another. And he said that unions have already expressed support for the measure. Joe Biden told everybody, "We're looking for this bipartisan effort to get this infrastructure bill passed." It's not just about energy versus the environment. It's not about business versus labor. It's basically about a race to the future. According to Biden, the money would go toward repairing bridges and roads, plus help electrify our school buses and our transit system, and build our national charging networks for EV vehicles, and eliminate the nation's lead service pipes. Everybody, what are your thoughts on President Biden and his work on helping out the American people? Is he doing a good job? Leave a comment down below saying yes or no.
HUD, USDA, and the VA announced details to help people with government-backed mortgages stay in their homes through monthly payment reductions and potential loan modifications.
Now the meeting comes just one day after Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer forced a procedural vote on the measure that failed in the upper chamber as Republicans balked at signing onto legislation that has yet to be written. Ahead of the vote, Republican Senator Roy Blunt predicted, "I think it's not going to turn out to be a hard vote for almost every Republican to decide that we're not going to vote to proceed toward a bill that does not exist yet." Chuck Schumer could bring the $1.2 trillion proposal up for a vote again as early as Monday. He does need 10 Republicans to join all 50 Democrats in agreeing to move it forward. Meanwhile, Republicans are blasting Democrats' additional $3.5 trillion proposal to address climate change and implement more social programs, to expand the government safety net as inflation continues its rise following multiple trillions in federal stimulus packages to address the crisis. Everybody, what are your thoughts on this? Is Congress taking way too long to send out the fourth stimulus check? Schumer is expected to seek passage of that proposal via reconciliation, which is achievable without any GOP support if every Democrat in the 50-50 chamber gets on board. Now, with much of his voting rights agenda stalled in Congress, President Biden stood by his support of the Senate filibuster. Biden said, "What I don't want to do is get wrapped up around whether it is all about the filibuster." Joe Biden added that abolishing the filibuster, which prevents legislation from moving forward in the absence of 60 votes, would throw the entire Congress into chaos and nothing will get done. The president demanded that his belief that a bipartisan approach in Washington remained a viable way to run the government as well as to help repair the deep divisions between Americans. Biden told an audience member, "I spent a lot of time here as a senator and a vice president." In June, the Bureau of Labor Statistics Consumer Price Index, a key gauge of inflation, shot up to 5.4% from the previous year, marking the latest spike since August 2008. And this has important implications for both retirees and disabled workers getting Social Security and SSI benefits. It means that their budgets are being squeezed now, but improve a lot next year. Now that hike would translate to more than an additional $80 per month in benefits, a fourfold increase in the extra $20 beneficiaries saw in the monthly benefits this year per Bank of America. With more Social Security dollars to dole out next year, and inflation in 2022 expected to ease at 2.3%, there will be about an $80 billion or so swing in net tax benefits that will help sustain the recovery for Social Security into the next year. Thank you so much for watching, everybody. I hope all of you guys have a great day.
Instead of giving tax breaks to billionaires, we're providing support for working families and their children. And about, I believe, 85% of families in America who have kids will be recipients of that. But that's not all we're doing for kids. You can talk about California, but I know that in Vermont, childcare is about $15,000 a year. That's about average for the nation. Here in Washington, D.C., actually, it's much higher. Some places it's lower. So if you make $40,000 or $50,000 a year, $60,000 a year, how do you come up with $15,000? 25% of your income for a child. If you have two kids, forget about it. Right? So what we're doing here is, and by the way, this is still a work in progress. I don't want to, what we're trying to do. I'm not going into all the bureaucratic details here. The details have not been finished. But what the goal here is, for low and moderate income families, childcare will be free. For families over a certain income, whether it's $55,000, no family will pay more than 7% of their income.
And this is huge, right? With the pandemic, so many people have to stay at home looking after their kids, disproportionately women. So if you care about jobs, right, you care about people going back to work, you got to look after people's kids.
It's huge. It is huge. So you do the arithmetic, you're making $50,000, 7% of that is $3,500. In Vermont, as opposed to paying $15,000. How's that for a significant increase?
Yeah.
And as part of that, we're trying to make childcare workers a proud profession,
yes,
not just a minimum wage industry. Many of the childcare workers are making horrible wages.
Secretary Janet Yellen alerted lawmakers that the nation will hit the debt limit on August the 1st, and she urged Congress to take action soon. Now, already, Treasury is planning to stop the sale of certain state and local government securities on July 30th, just before that debt limit deadline. The department will then have to resort to additional extraordinary measures on August the 2nd. Now, Yellen did not provide an estimate of how long these tools might last. The Congressional Budget Office had projected October or even November, but Yellen said the pandemic has made this timing particularly uncertain, and those extraordinary measures could run out shortly after Congress returns from its summer recess. Today, White House Press Secretary Jen Psaki said the administration expects lawmakers to act promptly, but didn't say whether it should be addressed in one of those infrastructure bills.
I'm not here to set a new deadline. I'm conveying to you the history and conveying to you that we think it's clear Congress should act in a bipartisan manner to raise the debt limit as they have in the past.
Now, of course, guys, the U.S. has never defaulted on its debt, and Yellen said that doing so would cause a